Hey, it's Jessica. I'm here with my pigs. Just kind of realized that I can raise my chair so I have a better view of the cage instead of being down here. It's kind of silly. Of course, this is an office chair. Of course I can do that. But whatever. So they're thinking they're getting something, and that's because they are. Because they always get something when I make a video. Usually keeps them quiet. Stop it! You are the worst for that. Only when you're trying to get something, though. So I'm just going to give them wheat sprays. The last of my old package. I have another package I haven't opened yet. Abby, you're getting yours first. Here. Run away. Trixie! Trixie. You get yours. Lily! Lily! Yeah, you get a bigger one. You do, you get bigger ones. Because you're smaller. So I was going to talk today about getting new guinea pigs and introducing pigs and how, you know, it's the proper way for introductions. So everybody knows by now that you should probably have more than one guinea pig. A lot of people say that when they have only one guinea pig that it's fine, it's happy, and whatnot, but like, I'm not personally going to argue it, and I don't personally attack people who have only one guinea pig. But really, how do you know how happy a guinea pig is? It's an animal. It doesn't tell you how happy it is. And if you've never seen it around another guinea pig, then you've never seen it act differently. And even really stubborn guinea pigs and aggressive ones that need to be housed alone still benefit from being housed beside another guinea pig. Like if you just have like a wallop, they usually still like that because at least they can see another animal, they can make noises at each other, and they still usually appreciate that. And obviously some other people's complaints are like, oh, you know, they're younger and they're kids and they're like, my parents won't let me get a second one. Well, then maybe you shouldn't have got the first one. And that's harsh. I really don't, personally, I don't really, like, I'm not going to bother you about it. Trixie, you done yours? But that's how a lot of people feel. Especially if you go on the Guinea Pig Cages forum and you follow anything about the Cavy spirit and everything like that. They were very, like, don't get a guinea pig then if you can't have two. They can be really harsh. So there's, like, a warning if you want to go on, like, their forum and their, you know, on their website. I've seen them just kind of tell people, like, no, like, what you're doing is wrong. So, and it has made people actually, like, stop talking on the forum because of that. Because they're definitely against some things, which I agree with, and then there's other things where it's like, don't be so harsh, you know? But I usually don't get involved, and I haven't really posted anything on that website in a long time. I usually just look. Like, I'll be bored, and I'll be like, oh, I wonder what's on the forum, and see if there's any, like, cute pictures of guinea pigs or something. But yeah, that's the argument. If you can't have two, then why do you have one? Like, why do you have one? Then you can get a different type of animal that suits your needs if you aren't allowed having two. A lot of people think that you can't house too many boys together. You can, it's a little bit more difficult, and you really have to make sure you have a big enough cage. A lot of people are now being pro wider cages with boys. Instead of doing like, my cage is only 2 grids wide, a lot of people, suggest that you have at least 3 grids wide for boys. Because if it's 3 grids wide, let's see, it would be out to around here, my cage, and then they don't even have to walk by each other, like as closely, to even start a fight. They can totally go around each other when they're in, you know, when they're in their moods. Which makes sense, it's just whether or not you have the room for it. Like, I don't have the room for anything bigger than I have right now, which is pretty big. I have females. You know, if I had I definitely wouldn't put 4 boys in this cage. That would be insane. It would have to be 2. I think 2 would work. Maybe 3, if you know that they do get along really well. So, if you have 2 females, you can definitely add another female. If you have 2 males, you can definitely add another male. If you have a neutered male and a female, you have to only stick to females. I've looked this up, I've never seen a case of someone who's been like, oh yeah, I've got, you know, 3 females and 2 males. I've never seen that. Or even like 2 males and 1 female, I've never seen it. So if you've seen somebody who has it and have proof of it, then I'd like to know. Because what usually happens is the 2 males will fight, and like really, really fight, like blood fight, because of that female. Because even though they're neutered, they're still very, like, they still very possessive about their females. That's how it works. And in the wild, that's how it would be. It'd be one male with a group of females. It's also really good to get a neutered male if you have a very bossy female that can't get along with other females. He will straighten her out because he becomes the boss, even if he's neutered. He's male, he's boss. And if you have two female pigs that are kind of not getting along, introducing a neutered male can stop that, because he will be boss and he will put them both in order, and they will, you know, kind of have to get along. Now you shouldn't, you know, you shouldn't purposely neuter your boys, because there is risk with it. They can die on the table, they can die after the neuter because of lack of care, or maybe you don't catch an infection in time because of the operation. So, like, I wouldn't get a male and be like, oh, I'm gonna go neuter him, you know. If you find, you know, at an adoption place that they already have a neutered male, then you could, you know, they've already done it, he's healthy, and then maybe that will be an option. But I definitely wouldn't purposely buy a non-neutered male and be like, you know, that's my plan, is to neuter. She just jumped into that hole. And, it's Trixie. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say about the neutered males. Obviously, spaying a female is much more invasive than neutering a male, and that's not even talked about, because most people don't do that, you know, unless it's ovarian cyst issue. I think that's when they obviously neuter. They take out the whole, they basically do, like, I think they do a hysterectomy, but on a guinea pig at that point, if a female has ovarian cysts, I think. Not sure. Sometimes when if you have one pig and you're introducing a new pig, sometimes it can go very smoothly, and that's with even two, and like adding one to already a pair. When I introduced Daisy to Lily, it was immediate, like, wow, where have you been all my life type, like, you're my sister, like, just immediate, like, they popcorned, and that was it, and we knew it would be fine. And it definitely changed Daisy, which some people might say to the worst, because Pat used to be like, oh, she doesn't like to be picked up anymore because of Lily, and I'd be like, well, she's an animal, and that's what she's supposed to be doing. She's not supposed to be coming to us for that socialization that she needs. Because when she was really young, I could pick her up no problem, and you could tell she liked it, the attention. But once Lily came into the picture, it was more of a like, no, I'm fine now. But that's better. It's better for the animal, and it's neater, and it's more neat to watch the animals amongst each other. So there's some behaviors right there that you're watching. She was rumbling. And sometimes it doesn't go good at all, and you have to keep trying. The rule 1 is to always do introductions on a neutral territory. Do it on the floor. They say, I'm going to post a link to the Cavy Spirit, because I read the Cavy Spirit bit about socialization and introductions. They say to do it on the couch, which I don't think is a good idea, because they could fall off the couch. I would do it on the floor, with obviously towels down and stuff, and you just put them on one end of the towel and let them find each other naturally. You would also do this with a pair. If you had one pair and you were introducing a third, you would do it the same way. Now, introducing a third to a pair is usually a little bit more difficult, because the pair is already bonded. I don't have anything else. And a third can actually break up the bond. It can change the whole dynamics of the herd, kind of, you know, because of the odd third one. Which is why I kind of ended up getting Lily, because I didn't really want to introduce Daisy to Trixie and Abby, because I knew how well, like, they were okay with each other, and I was like, I didn't want that to happen. I didn't want to wreck their bond or whatever. So we got Lily. I also got Lily just in case it didn't work at all, and I had to have 2 separate cages forever. I'd be like, well, then I have Trixie and Abby in one cage with Lily and Daisy in the other cage. So that is why we chose Lily. But going back to the introductions, yeah, you do it on neutral ground, because you don't want, you can't just plop them in the cage, because the cage smells like you're already guinea pig, or they're the pair that you already have, and it's their cage. Like, they'll be very territorial if you just plop in a guinea pig, another one. So you definitely don't want to do that. Do it on neutral territory, see what happens. There will be behaviors that you'll see. A lot of times people end the introductions too early, because it's like, it frightens them, like the noises and stuff that they can make. But really, you should only be separating an introduction if there's like blood drawn or there's biting, like an actual full-blown fight. And in that case, you want to make sure you have a towel or something that you can just throw on them to kind of stop the fight, because when animals are in full fight, they will bite you if you try to put your hand in, not knowing it's you. They're just biting, right? So they're not really being mean, they're just biting. But the normal behaviors, the safe behaviors and noises you'll hear will be the rumble strutting, which mine do a lot, because they do it when they're in heat. What do you want, Lily? What do you want? Yeah, I was going to say, you're not going to let me pet you, are you? No, you're not. She only let me touch her because she thought I was giving her food. Butt sniffing, when you first introduce pigs, yeah, they definitely do that just to get each other's scent. Butt nudging, which I don't think I've seen, but I guess that's when they're just sniffing and pushing at the same time. Chasing, that's definitely something that will happen, even when if you have females in there in heat, they can go on a little chase occasionally. I've seen it. It hasn't happened in a while, like a month. I don't think females do this, but dragging, I know males do it, I've heard. They'll drag their rears because they're marking their scent. Mounting, females do it, males do it. They can mount from the side, the back, the face. What they'll do is they'll just jump on the other guinea pig's back. I've never seen this either, nose face-offs, where they'll raise their nose as high as they can in the air. Kind of like, oh, mine's higher than yours type thing. I don't know. I guess I've never seen my guinea pigs do it. And raised hackles is the hair on down the spine. I guess gets raised because they're getting a little angry. Lily's popcorning. Lily's happy. The babies still popcorn quite a bit, especially during cleaning when I vacuum, because they know they're getting the vegetables. So it's around vegetable time and treat time, they'll do it. Now, other signs that they might go for a fight or might, bite would be teeth chattering, which my girls do, especially Trixie. She likes to chatter. She likes to chatter at us sometimes. It's a little annoying. Nips. My girls nip in the air. They haven't really nipped at each other too much. And it's usually about food. When one tries to steal food out of the other one's mouth. Wide yawn, but they're not really yawning. They're showing teeth. They're showing each other their teeth. It's kind of an aggressive behavior. And snorting, which I've never heard my pigs snort. They usually make their little coos and weaking and popping and cheese chattering and rumble strutting noise, but they don't snort. So those would be indicators that they might start a fight. Might go serious, or it might not. Then obviously, signs of actual fighting would be actual biting attacks. A combination of rumble strutting, teeth chattering, raised hackles, and not moving, like there's one pig's making all those noises at once and staring down the other pig. You should definitely be worried at that point, because it looks like he's going to be going in for an attack. If both pigs rear up on their haunches face to face, their intent is to launch at each other, so you might want to still not really intervene until you have to. And obviously a full battle, people have described as like a ball of fur. They'll just be rolling around fighting. Obviously you need to stop that. Introductions can take a long time, and that's what people don't understand. You should, especially with boys, you should leave them in their neutral territory for at least like a half an hour to an hour. Just because they might like each other at first, but after a while they realize, no, I don't want to live with you, It's like, oh, hi, you're cool, you're new, so I'm going to accept you. But after a while they're like, no, I don't like this pig, I don't want to live with this pig. So it takes time. And when you've gotten to the point where you want to put them all in the cage together, you need to do a full clean before you do that. Full clean, vinegar, use whatever disinfectant you use on your chloroplast, and change things around. So when all the pigs go back, the pigs that are not new and are used to the cage think it is kind of like a new cage, so they're not so territorial. Obviously there'll be still more signs of dominance once they go back in their cage, because they'll be, especially with boys, they'll start to mark their scent on everything, because they are now, the scents are gone because you've cleaned the cage. Happy's just over here eating hay. Don't feel like showing her backside. So, what was I saying? yes. So yeah, your cage should be clean, and yeah, they might start over almost with the introduction in the cage, because they need to now figure out, whose part of the cage is mine and all that, whose Heidi is mine, because some pigs are very aggressive. Mine aren't so much, unless one of them really wants to go into a Heidi where another one is. They might kick each other out. But as you can see, Lily's in that one, where I've seen Trixie in that one, I've seen, you know what I mean? They all tend to just go into other hides whenever it's empty. Lily seems quite content now. I guess she's not going to come over. And yeah, she's gotten the hint that she's not getting any more treats. They like to sit in front of this tunnel, like on both ends. Like Abby's been sitting on that end because there's a whole bunch of black hair there. So, I don't know why. It's funny. And, yeah, so definitely. Oh, and when you feel like an introduction is still not working after a lot of time, you can bathe them together. A lot of people saying that, pigs that bathe together stay together. Obviously, you want to be competent in bathing. If you've never bathed your pigs before, you probably shouldn't do an introduction bath, just because they could start fighting in the bath, and that could be, difficult because of the water and them being slippery. You definitely want more towels to try to break up the fight if that happens. But usually, guinea pigs really don't like baths. If you've seen my bath video, they stick together. And that's what you're trying to do, is make them bond through being kind of frightened by the bath. And that they'll stick together and then keep that bond after the bath. What I did with mine was, once I had Lily and Daisy together, we did have one floor time with all four of them. And it went okay. I thought they picked on the babies a little bit, the older girls. Can't remember if it was Abby or Trixie more. But they did get picked on a little bit, so it's kind of worrying. And then when it was time to change the cage around, because I was making the cage bigger, like this, I didn't completely do a full clean. As in, the room was a mess, and I was building this cage. And I remember I was using fleece flippers at the time. They weren't completely brand new clean, but they'd only been used for like a day. So they would have had the scent, obviously, of Trixie and Abby. But I think because I've changed the cage completely around, that it didn't matter. I did end up just plopping Lily and Daisy in, and they were fine. But it was also a whole new cage at this point. Because they had two hay bags, and all this stuff, when they only had one when it was Trixie and Abby. They only had the one hay bag that they had to share. So they had one on each end to, keep them away from each other, if so be it, if it got to that point. They had hides, they had the two corner curtains, and other hides that they had. And I never really have a problem. They don't fully fight during heat, because our females is usually problematic. That's when they start rumble strutting, and maybe a chase here and there, but nothing bad. With boys, I know a lot of people don't even do introductions during their adolescence, which I can't remember what age that is. I think it's around right under a year to a year, because supposedly when they're teenagers, they're really bad. They're really hormonal. They can even, like if you have if you bought like two male babies, or adopted two male babies that are already bonded because they're brothers, they can actually lose their bond at the adolescent stage because of their hormones and aggressiveness that comes with it. So a lot of times people won't do introductions until they're over that. Or you can introduce an adult male. You don't want to do another adolescent, because that would be crazy. You want to do an adult male, which might calm the situation down, because he's older. Just like if you already have a pair of older pigs, it's best to introduce a baby, because they'll accept a baby more than another adult. Not always, obviously, but that's the kind of like a trick to do it, is watch the ages of your pigs. I'm trying to think if I missed any important information. I don't think so. I probably, once I've done the video, I'll be like, oh, I didn't say this. But yeah, that is about it. And sometimes pigs just don't get along, even females. But you definitely need the space. Don't have a small cage and be like, well, I don't understand why my pigs don't get along. It's because there's not enough room for them to get away from each other. It'd be like you being stuck in a closet with like your brother or your sister. I might love him, but in that small space, I want to fight him. You know, you just don't have your personal space. And it's more, I guess some pigs, you know, need more space than others, obviously, but you definitely want to make sure you have a good sized cage. I know even with females, a 2x4 is the nice minimum. 2x3 is the bare bone minimum, and that's really only for one pig, not two. So if you're adding a second, you should give it a little bit more room, right? So 2x4 is usually the minimum, and that's for females. Males is usually a 2x5 to be comfortable. Of course, there's, you know, somebody will be like, you know, I have 2 males and my cage is a 2x4 and it's fine. That's, you know, that's great. It's because you have a really good bonded pair, but it doesn't always work. And then if you look at other, you know, like if anyone, obviously a lot of people are subscribed to Zoe Babies, and she has like 13 females, and it's amazing. Like but they also have like an open concept cage, and they free range, and it's great, you know, to watch just her videos. She doesn't even have to say anything, just to watch them all like run around and stuff is great. But they're all females, and I think there seriously is like 12 to 13 of them. This is a little much. It must be a lot of poop. So she's quite comfortable. Just got her leg out. Oh my god, I scared you all. Jeez, gives me a little heart attack. Oh, there's some rumbling. I don't know who it's coming from. I think it's coming from Daisy. It's funny watching Daisy and Lily now show signs that I've never seen before, because when they were babies they don't do this. So I don't know if females... I think females have like an adolescence too, because that's when they first have their first heat and everything, because they will rumble. And I've caught Lily mounting like Abby, and that's kind of funny, because you're just like, oh, okay, whatever. Right, Abby? You're a good sport. But, yeah, they rumble now. They'll do their own little strut, but it's nothing to be concerned about with my pigs. So you just gotta make sure that you don't let them... Like, if I only had one bowl of salad, like one bowl for all 4 of them, that would probably not be a good idea, or one bowl for their pellets, because they would be getting into each other's faces, and then they'd fight. It was okay, I had one bowl for Trixie and Abby, and then once I introduced the other pair, obviously I was going to do 2. But everything's different, and obviously there's exceptions to every rule. And it's harder if you have a pair, and then one unfortunately passes away, and it's like, what do you do? A lot of times people will wait, you know, a little bit of time and then go out and try to get another companion. But what do you do if you don't want, you know, another companion? Because another companion means you'll have guinea pigs for longer. You know, what if this is your only pair, and once they go you don't want to keep guinea pigs anymore? Then you have to think about that also, where you will have a pig that's alone. And if that happens, you definitely have to spend a lot more time with it. Some people have said that they put stuffed animals in the cage, and that somehow helps, as long as the guinea pig's not attacking, obviously, or eating and chewing that stuffed animal. But yeah, those are my only tricks and hints I can think of. Trixie, you're looking a little chubby. And we still need to give them their bath at some point. They're pigs. Piggy pig pigs. And I'm still waiting on my revolution for them, because I don't know. If you can see, like, they were scratching a bit, but not too much. I think it's more Abby that might have this problem with her skin, but I'm just putting the revolution on them to make sure it's not something that I just can't see. Because if it's lice, supposedly revolution, I would see lice actually, because I've seen pictures of it, especially since I have 2 dark-haired piggies. I would see lice. They don't have lice, but you can't see mites, and I don't know if you can see fleas. And she's scratching a lot. And she's losing a lot of hair too, this one. Because you can tell where she's been. There's a lot of black hair. So that worries me a little bit. So they'll be getting revolution. But they'll be getting a bath first. But I don't even have my revolution yet. And I'm waiting for the male for that. I don't know how long it's going to take. And the revolution seems like such a easier thing to do than the ivermectin treatments. So it's just topical. It's like what you do with your cats with, you know, those drops that you put on their neck with cats, but with guinea pigs you do it on their bald spot behind their ear. Oh yeah, I'm going to wrap this video up because it's a long one. Usually the informative ones are long. Oh, look at Trixie. Look at you, stretching out. See, now Trixie has it and Lily is over here. But I wasn't really paying attention if Trixie kicked her out, or if they just know that, you know, Trixie's kind of the bossier. I think the older ones are more the boss pigs, and the babies know that, so. Lily needs a haircut. Obviously, they'll be getting haircuts before the bath. That makes sense, obviously. Why would I cut their hair after the bath? So haircuts, bath, and the revolution. So hopefully I get that soon in the mail. If you have any questions about anything, go ahead and ask, and I'll leave a link to the Cavy Spirit page that talks about introductions and socialization. And thanks for watching. Bye-bye.